Good morning dear children. So let us learn another interesting topic in your biology syllabus, so that is cell structure and its functions. We have already learnt about the cells in your 7th standard. So let us learn some more facts regarding these cells. So when you observe things around you, so they include both living and non-living things. So when you observe the living things like plants, animals, so you notice that so many functions will be going on in their bodies. So can you list those functions taking place in the living organisms? So you will list the functions going on in the living organisms such as respiration, then digestion, then excretion, reproduction, then transportation, so like this you will go on listing some of the important functions which will be going on inside the living organisms. So can you name the organs related to these functions? So when you learn about respiration, so you will name the organ associated with that, so those are lungs. So when you see this digestion process, so you will be listing the organs of the digestive system like stomach, intestine, liver, etc. Then when you notice this excretion, so you will be naming the organ kidney. Then in reproduction, you will be naming the testis, ovary. So in case of plants, you will be naming the organs like carpel, then stamen. Then coming to the process, that is transportation, you will be naming the organ heart. So like this, you will be naming different functions going on in the living organisms and the organs associated with them. So when you observe all these organs of the human body, and you can list the organs or the parts of the plants also. So when you observe these parts, so what do these organs or parts of the body is made of? So what do these organs are made of? So each and every organ that you have listed here will be made up of fundamental or basic units. So these fundamental or basic units are called cells. So in Latin language, so what do you mean by a cell? See, cell means a room or a compartment. So we can compare these cells to that of the bricks. So we use bricks for the construction of the houses. See how the house is constructed with the help of bricks. Like that, all the living organisms are made up of these cells. So the cells constitute, the group of cells constitute a tissue, group of tissue constitute a lung, constitute a organ. So group of cells form the tissues, group of tissues forms the organs, and group of organs forms the organ system. So can you name the organ systems? So respiration, respiratory system, then digestive system, then excretory system, then reproductory system, then this is circulatory system, and you might have remembered about the nervous system. So where it constitutes the organ, so can you name the organ which is there in the nervous system? Yes, it is brain. So all the living organisms are made up of basic structural and functional unit called the cell. So here, what is the definition of cell? Cell is the basic structural and functional unit of all living organisms. So cell is a basic structural and functional unit of living organisms. So let us learn about the discovery of the cell. See, who found or who discovered the cells? So a scientist by name Robert Hooke in the year 1665. So a scientist by name Robert Hooke in the year 1665, he observed these cells under his own instrument. So he constructed an instrument, so which used to magnify the things. So he observed the bark of a tree. So bark means, so bark of the tree. So when you take a fine section of the bark of the tree, so it is called as bark. So when he observed a slice of this bark under his instrument, which is used to enlarge or magnify the things, so he observed these cells. So when he observed the cells, when he observed the bark, so he found a coin-like structures. So coin-like boxes or compartments he observed under his instrument. So he called that instrument as microscope. So when you say, you show the cells, whatever you are telling, you show these cells, means if you are asking like that, so I should have this instrument, that is microscope. Microscope is made up of a set of lenses. So under this instrument, so we can observe the cells. So like this, Robert Hooke for the first time observed these boxes or compartment like structures under the microscope. So he named these, so he observed these compartments and they were looking like the compartments which are seen in honeycomb. So the compartments, when you see in a honeycomb, they were resembling like that of this. So he observed that, so there is a fine demarcation. See, each compartment were segregated or separated by a distinctive wall. So he named this as cells. But actually, so these cells were dead cells. So after the findings of the Robert Hooke, so people continued studying about the cells, and for the next 150 years there was a little bit information known about these cells. So people could gather only little information about the cells, and later after 150 years, so advanced microscopes were discovered. So under the observations, so after the advancement of these microscopes, with the improved versions of the microscopes, the cells were studied further and we could know some more facts about the cells. Here you are observing the picture of Robert Hooke, who observed cells under his own constructed optical instrument called microscope. So under his own constructed microscope, he observed the thin slice of the bark of the tree. He took a thin slice of the bark of the tree, and when he observed under the microscope, it looked like this. So he could see the compartment-like structures. So these compartment-like structures were resembling that of the compartments of the honeycomb. He could clearly observe the demarcation or the separation wall between one compartment to another compartment. So he coined the term cell. So you know, cell is a structural and functional unit of an organism. So this was the optical instrument that he used to observe the bark of the tree. So we now know that when we take the onion peeling, so we could also observe the cells under the microscope. So as the improved versions of microscopes were invented, scientists could discover more things about the cell. You can see the advanced versions of the microscopes. So how do scientists study the cells? So while studying the cells, they will take the cross section of the minute parts of the plant part or animal part, and will take a thin section of those parts and observe under the microscope. So you can see the plant cell here. So this is the diagrammatic representation of plant cell. So with the advanced microscope like electron microscope, we can see the ultrastructures of the organelles present inside the cells. You can see the nucleus, vacuole, chloroplast, endoplasmic reticulum, so all these organelles. You are observing the diagrammatic representation of animal cell where it lacks the cell wall. Here you are observing the bacterial cell. Here you can see what we observe under the microscope. So this is the real image of the cell. See, it is looking colorless or greyish in color. So we have not put any color to the specimen that we observe under the microscope. So what happens if we give color to these specimens? So when we take the cross section of the thin slice of a plant part or animal part, so they will take up the stain or color and they look like this. So you can see the nucleus inside the cell which has taken a dark pink color, and you can see the cell membrane, so which is also clearly seen here. Here you can see the colorful parts of the cell as it has taken different colors. So here also you can notice the cells where the nucleus has taken the red dye. Here you are observing the bricks of the wall. So the bricks are used to construct the house. Though the bricks you can see here are similar in structure, so whatever you find the houses, they will be in different size, shape and pattern. So these bricks can be compared to that of the cells. See, these cells also comprises organisms, but we cannot compare these cells to the bricks, as these cells are complex structures, whereas bricks are the non-living structures. Here you can see the onion. So if we take the thin slice of the peelings of the onion, so we can observe the cells. If we do not have the microscope, how we can get the idea of the cell? See, cells are microscopic and could be seen only under the microscope. But here you are seeing egg of the hen, which is macroscopic. So I asked you whether this egg is a single cell or group of cells. No doubt the egg of the hen represents a single cell. You can see the yellow part inside, so which is the nucleus, and around that the albumin or white part of the egg is nothing but the cell membrane. So the organisms consist of a number of cells. See, can we count the number of cells present in a tree or the number of cells present in an elephant? So here an organism may be considered unicellular or multicellular. Here, can we count how many cells are there in the human body? See, there are about trillions of cells in a huge organism like human being or a tree or a elephant. Here you can see a multicellular organism. You are seeing the algae where the example is volvox. Here there is a colony of volvox where you can see number of cells. Here you can see the different cell types present in the human body. You are observing the bone cells. So those are called alveoli. So in the brain you have a neuron as a specialized tissue. In the blood you have specialized cells called red blood cells, white blood cells, platelets. And in heart you have different types of muscular tissues like the smooth tissue, smooth muscle tissue, and cardiac muscle tissue, then skeletal muscle tissues. So you knew the definition of the cell. Cell is the basic structural and functional unit of an organism. So these cells can be compared to that of the bricks of the house. A house is constructed by using the bricks. So those bricks look similar to each other. So all the bricks will be looking similar to each other. Though the similar type of bricks are used to construct the house, so we can see a different size, shaped pattern of buildings around us. So like that, the cells constitute an organism. So these cells are arranged, a group of cells forms an organism. So we see a colorful, different size, shaped living creatures in this world. Although they consist of the cells, so they look different from each other. So they have different size, shape and colors. Though they have a type of cells in them, so later part of our lesson will study that the cells are different from each other. So cells of nervous tissue is different, a cell of muscular tissue is different, whereas the cell of bone or cell of blood looks very different from each other. See, how do scientists observe these cells? So they observe the cells under the microscope. So if you want to see a cell, you need to have a microscope. Suppose you don't have a microscope, so I can give you the idea of cell, how it looks like. So a cell can be compared to that of the egg of the hen. Have you seen the egg of the hen? So I'll ask you a question, whether it is a single cell or group of cells. As it is macroscopic, as you can see a egg with your naked eye, you say, so it is made up of group of cells. But a single egg represents a single cell. So that you have the yellow part in the middle, so white part, so that is covering the yellow part, so that white part is acting like the cell membrane, and the yellow part inside that it resembles that of the nucleus. So when scientists study these cells, so they using the advanced microscopes. So to observe the cells, they have to put color or dye. So they have to put color or dye to the specimens. So what is a specimen? If you want to observe the cells, you have to take the minute part parts of the plants or animals. If you want to observe the plant cells, you can take the cross section of the leaf, root or stem. You can see the arrangement of different types of cells. So in that, or you want to observe the animal cells, you have to take a drop of blood or a piece of skin, like that. So if you take cross section of the skin and observe under the microscope, the cells are visible. But if those cells are mixed with a type of colors, so these are said to be dyes. So when they take the color, so they look very contrast to each other, and so we can observe them in a clear manner. So scientists are able to observe the cells and could find more things about the cells due to the advancement of different types of microscopes. The heading, the organisms show variety in cell number, shape and size. So let us have an idea of how many number of cells will be there in living organisms. So living organisms are classified as multicellular organisms and unicellular organisms. So here you can see the examples of the unicellular organisms like amoeba or a paramecium. You have the organism, so which is a smaller multicellular organism like algae. So example here is walrus. So it has got a group of cells, so consisting of the colonies. Here you can see a smaller number of cells inside these colonies, whereas here amoeba is a unicellular organism. So though this is a unicellular, having a single cell, so all the necessary functions will be taking place inside the organism. Here though less number of cells are present in Walbach's colony, so all the functions will be taking place inside the organism and it does not affect any functions. See the functions like respiration, digestion, reproduction, excretion and growth of these organisms will be going on taking place irrespective of the number of cells present in them. You have a multicellular organism, so that is Walbach's, so which is an example of algae. Here you can see a number of cells present in the colonies. So though the organisms considered as unicellular or multicellular, so all the necessary functions will be taking place inside the organisms. So here necessary functions like respiration, digestion, excretion, reproduction and growth of the organisms takes place irrespective of the number of cells present in them. So if we count the number of cells in a tree or a elephant, so roughly we can say billions and trillions of cells will be there in those organisms. But it is not necessary that a unicellular organism, maybe organisms are unicellular or multicellular, so all the necessary functions will be going on in those organisms. We consider the shape of the cells. Here you can see a different shaped cells. You have red blood cells here which are spherical in shape. You have spindle shaped cells which are considered as muscular cells. Here elongated cells which are the nerve cells, and the bone cells which are osteocytes are highly branched type. Here the red blood cells will be spherical in shape. See, among the blood cells you have the white blood cells. So these cells will be constantly changing their shape. So likewise amoeba, as you have learned earlier, so this amoeba constantly changes its shape. So what is the reason for the shape of the cells, constant changing of the cells? So these have the structures like pseudopodia or false feet due to the constant changing of the the shape of the cells, you have red blood cells which are spherical in shape. So these are nerve cells which are considered as elongated, where the cell body is highly branched. You have osteocyte of the bone. Here also the cell membrane is highly branched. So these are muscular cells, the muscle cells consisting of the spindle shape, where you can notice the pointed ends. What is the reason for the shape of the cells? So here you can notice the cell membrane. So cell membrane is the one which gives a definite shape to the cells. You might have observed the amoeba which constantly changes its cell shape. So what is the reason for that? Similar to amoeba, white blood cells also will change their shape. So the reason for change of the shape of cell in amoeba is due to the finger-like projections called the pseudopodia. As you have learned in your 7th standard, so this pseudopodia helps the amoeba to move from one place to another place.
You can observe the movement inside the amoeba. You can observe the movement of amoeba cell with the help of its pseudopodia. It is extending its projections to catch the food. You can see the nucleus inside the amoeba. So various cell organelles of the amoeba. You can clearly see the movement of the amoeba. You can observe the food being captured by the pseudopodia of the amoeba. So this is the animation where amoeba is moving from one place to another place. Here is how the movement of paramecium takes place. See how the movement of paramecium. You can nicely observe the movement of paramecium.
So when we study about the shape of the cells, you have different shaped cells. So you are observing red blood cells, muscle cells and nerve cells. So these red blood cells are spherical in shape. Otherwise, so they can be biconcave also. So like this, so biconcave shaped red blood cells you can notice here. So here you can see the spindle shaped muscular cells where the cell is pointed at both the ends. Whereas you can see an elongated nerve cell having the branches on either side where the cell body is highly branched to form these dendrites. And you have the bone cells. So when you take a cross section of the human bone, so the cells present in the bone, so will also be showing a particular projection. So where the cell membrane is highly branched. So these are called osteocytes. So these are the different cells present in the human body. So you can see the variety of the shapes of the cells. So earlier you observed the amoeba. So in amoeba you can observe the shape of the cell gets constantly changed. So why this change in the shape takes place in amoeba? So similar to amoeba, a type of blood cell, that is the white blood cell, the white blood cell also will be changing its, so white white blood cell will be having a nucleus, so which is of the horseshoe shaped. So similar to amoeba, these white blood cells also will be constantly changing their shape. So the reason for the change of the shape is due to these finger-like projections. So it has got finger-like projections called pseudopodia. Because of these false feet, so it moves from one place to another place and it helps those structures to capture the food. So whenever there is a food particle outside the amoeba in the water medium, so it, with the help of the finger-like projections, it captures the food and consumes the food inside. Here, two important processes taking place inside the amoeba, which are done with the help of this pseudopodia, are the locomotion and the capturing of the food. So you have a bone cell here, so which is highly branched, which we can see inside the bones. And this is a nerve cell. So nerve cell is elongated and which helps the human body to receive and transfer the messages from one part of the body to another. You have muscular cells which help in various activities which we'll do in our day-to-day life. So these muscular cells have got pointed ends where you can clearly see a distinctive nucleus inside. So this is considered as spindle shape. And when you come to the size of the cells, so when you study the size of cells, so you cannot see the cells with your naked eye, and you should have a microscope to observe these cells. So what is the size of the cell? So you have observed 1 millimeter in your measuring scale. So if you divide that 1 millimeter by 1000, so it gives a measurement called 1 micron. So 1 micron is 1,000th of a millimeter. A small cell, the smallest cell is that of a bacteria which measures about 0.1 micrometer to 0.5 micrometer. And when you consider a largest cell, so it consists of the egg of the ostrich. So egg of the ostrich is considered as the largest cell